Welcome back to Dota 2 Asian Championship coverage brought to you by the Score Esports. Rave is a sensation of the tournament. And in particularly, in the last game, it was Rave's Ravages that got them a huge victory against Big Gods. My question to your heart is nothing about lineage. It's more like, can Rave take the second game?
If they play from their hearts.
If they play from their hearts. I would rather play with their fingers. It's probably a little bit more accurate. But I mean, whatever works, right?
They're gonna bring the best from their hearts. When you watch the interview, the captain, Cass, he said he loves his team.
Guy love.
It's guy love between 5 guys.
Among all the teams he has in the past, this is the team that he poured his heart and soul into nurturing the youngsters in the team.
That is good.
That's cool.
That is good. Shannon, what do you want to see in this game?
Sorry, I just always say no to questions.
Okay, sure.
What do I want to see?
No. We're going into the
good. How dare you? That's fine. If you want to ignore me.
Please answer.
All right, actually, I do have to say something about last game.
Yeah, go ahead.
Winter was commenting about how Tidehunter actually lost the lane against Axe.
Yes.
And wait, was it the other way around?
No,
it was Axe beating Tidehunter.
Axe beats Tidehunter.
Yeah.
He actually got a lot of spins.
But it was because of the RNG that didn't work.
Yeah, what we were talking about at one point, he got a call off. 3 spins, the Tide just died.
What I want to know the percentage of that, Mr. Old Statsman.
Okay.
The new Statsman.
I'm gonna give it to Brian. he seems like he needs a hand and like
he's really not.
Can use with a couple of stats.
3 spins in a row, Brian. Yeah, that can't be that difficult.
Well, it's 70%.
It's pseudo-random.
Well, the thing. It ends up being the same. So if you want 3 spins and it's 70% chance of spin, I want to say, you can check it there.
It was 17 last.
So it's 0.17.
It's actually 20 now.
Cubed. It's 20 now. So it's 20 cubed. That's easier. 0.04, 0.008. So it's like what? Yes, exactly.
0.5%.
Yeah. It's a 20% of the 20% of the 20%.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see more spins.
We are gonna see more spins.
But this time it's for Rave.
Let's take a look at the draft. Axe was one of the strongest heroes in the group stage. In the
I
playoffs,
think in general,
not
he's the strongest hero in the game just because of the way he looks.
He has.
Would you say that?
The biceps are strong.
He's a very strong man. I mean, when you think of a manly man, that's the first thing you think of.
I mean, the thing I'm questioning is his facial hair. Would you let it grow? And then he has like this soul patch here. What the hell is that?
See, men don't shave, so for him, that's actually how his hair grows. He can't help it. It's a deficiency, and it's apparently
it's in the lore
as well.
What's wrong? Why is
he is trolling?
It's not in the lore. Shut up, Brian.
Brian, the stats man, trolling. Okay.
The loreman, Brian.
So are we gonna see a Tide this time for a Big God?
I mean, do you want to see an RTK Tide?
That's a good point.
Depends.
Yes, I do.
It depends whether Shiva is sitting next to him.
But I think Shiva is sitting next to his heart.
We're seeing it.
Okay. Tidehunter and Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor didn't do much. And the thing about Witch Doctor, and the amazing thing about him is that because of the long range of the Death Ward, he can always stand behind, channel a lot of time. Storm Spirit was always right on top of him, so he couldn't get anything else
Do you think Storm's going to get picked here? Because you would assume second phase it gets banned by Big God, right?
I say that Rave can pick it if they want to.
Or Winter, you're bringing up Doom as a potential counter.
Yeah, but the issue I have with the hero is it's not reliable that you get the Doom on him. Like we saw a few times that Sumail, in the game Sumail played up against the Doom, he was just moving around the fight. The cast point of the spell is just too
that
much.
was nerfed not too long ago.
Yeah,
right?
once he got the Orchid, he would always silence the Doom before the Doom could doom him. The other thing that we can see here is a Vengeful Spirit. But now we're gonna see the Lion.
And I actually want to talk about the Lion. I think in the whole tournament, every team that has played Lion, Ninja Boogie's Lion is different from everyone's Lion. I'm not sure if anyone notices. He skills it differently from anyone. No one does his way of taking points in his skill. He would always get the stun until level 3, regardless of the situation. 3-1-1. After that, he will max his mana drain. He will leave the Impale at level 3. Earth Spike at level 3.
I noticed it, Winter. Are you proud of me?
Nice.
High five, guys.
Me and syndereN. We actually, it was me, not syndereN at all. Now that I think about it, shout out to syndereN, best co-caster, not NA.
Why do you feel the rationale to keep it on 3 and not 4 is Winter? How does the stun scale?
We talk about the
Let's take a look.
spike.
You can
It scales at level 3. It has 2-second duration, 2.02, and 200 damage. And at level 4, it's 2.5 seconds.
Okay, so it's
And 260. It's 60 damage and 0.5. But I don't think the scaling is the major issue of from what I understand the way he plays it. Because as a support, we talked about this before. It's very important to make use of every single point you get, because you're not going to get a lot of levels.
Right.
At level 7, if you have 4 in Earth Spike and 1 in Mana Drain, it's a huge difference if you have 3 in Spike and somehow at level 8 you get your level 3 Mana Drain. The drain is scaling. If you look at the drain, the scale...
the last point is so much
the
value.
last point is a lot better. So if you do it what Ninja Boogie does, he gets... you will get 4 points in Mana Drain at level 9.
Right.
And usually supports, the 7 and 8... am I correct? 7 and 8? You reach 7 and 8 faster, but level 9 slower.
Yes.
With the current change. So it's actually better in the sense that you can actually use it to counter certain heroes if you feel that Mana Drain would be good that game. But for him, he does it every game.
That is an amazing point that we don't bring up so much. How the levels change. It used to be that to get from level X to level X plus 1, you needed like that level times 100 experience. So if you're going to get level 2, you get 200 experience. If you're going to get level 10, it's 1,000. But that changed, I want to say like about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
To the point where some levels are slightly easier to get, and in counterpart, levels that come after are harder.
And that helped out
So
the supports a lot.
Yes, it's in general it's faster to get to level 11, but harder to get from level 11 to level 16. I abandon when I miss ulti at 11.
How do you
Yes, from level 11 to level 12 is the slow one actually.
The other hero that I see people do the same thing is Nyx Assassin. Sometimes you don't max the stun because the scaling is about the same as the Lion's Impale.
Yes.
Earth Spike, and you have other spells that are really good as well.
But the old way, it was, correct me if I'm right, it was like level 8 to 9 was long, but now it's 11 to 12.
Yes.
Right? It was something to
11 to 12, yes.
So getting that level 2 ulti, much easier.
So that's the thing, it's like they're realizing it's easy to get for a support to get to level 9, level 10, level 11. Past that point, it's not difficult. It's difficult. But so let's think for level 11, you're going to have 2 points in ultimate. You will have 2 skills at level 4 potentially, and 1 skill at level 1. Or 1 skill at level 4, 1 at level 3, 1 at level 2. Hex is a 1-point wonder for Lion, because it's really good. But once you get to the point where you can scale it, it can potentially destroy any kind of carry that has mobility, because it disables everything. He can barely move. He doesn't have evasion. He doesn't have most of the skills that normally protect carries. So
yeah, talk about Hex. Both sides right now have a Hex.
Yes.
Big God going for that pushing Tidehunter Shaman. We see a couple of months ago, I want to say, Ultimates up. Objective Gaming, Ravage and Shaman bots. Roshan, Towers, take a fight. Very systematic, classic Shell 8 team.
Reserve time.
Yeah. We'll see whether they can actually build something around that. They do have a lot of wards. I think Shannon, Big God, they get the Venomancer. And they get Plague wards and Serpent wards and Death wards.
But Tidehunter has nothing, that's the problem.
Well, he can buy the wards.
Okay. Place complete support, 5 roll. Alright. I like that.
Nether
the ward strat.
And then Pagna for Nether ward.
Oh, that's the hero I want to see.
It's actually a decent pushing lineup if you think about it.
Now it's giving it away that this is the push lineup.
Nova.
Sure. Luna herself. Usually when you see if a team wants Lion, but they pick Lion, then they go with Shadow Shaman. It's like the downgrade to
the Storm Spirit has a roll. Storm Spirit is really good against Luna. It's extremely good against Luna, because if Luna wants to pop the Eclipse, Storm Spirit just zips away. Luna has no real guarantee disable. There's a small stun on the Lunar Beam, but that is not enough to stop the Storm Spirit. Her cast animation is pretty slow, so there's potential for getting Orchid. Of course, it's going to build Manta, but at that point, that doesn't really matter. Storm Spirit does very well against Luna, Shadow Shaman, and Witch Doctor, as long as he gets an Orchid or a Shipstick, which he's obviously gonna get.
Whoa.
Big God gets the Dragon Knight.
They're going all in now.
The Big Gods went to the closet, started dusting it off. It's like, what can we find at the bottom of this closet? Here's this all pushing lineup.
DK, wow.
It's kind of what was
It's kind of like more old school push strat.
Yeah.
It's
not even TI4.
Yes, I was just gonna say it's not even TI4. It's TI3 to some degree.
I got a message from someone that talked to Ninja Boogie. He said the main reason that why he actually do that because if he feels like with Lion when you get Tranquil Boots, the only other issue you have is mana. So he feels that the last point in the Impale Earth Spike doesn't matter so much. So you have Tranquils plus higher levels in mana drain. You don't have to go back to base.
That's good.
Nobody calls it Earth Spike, by the way.
Yeah.
Impale's the way to go.
Impale. I just keep calling it Impale.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and Rave's the Omni Knight.
A repelled storm. I am actually super scared for Big God. I really like Rave's lineup a lot.
Rave's lineup is very strong.
The only problem is the laning. I mean, that's always the problem with Omni, right? Is where the hell do you put him?
But at the same time, you could say the same about the laning on the previous game because the Chen doesn't bring strength at the early game of your lanes. But if the early knight can get a Soul Ring, they're gonna be.
But then you make it up with like pushing towers and whatnot, right?
This game, I think the Storm's item build can always be getting after Orchid. You get a Lincoln Sphere because you have Repel. That's it works really well together. Makes the Storm super strong. Even though this time Big God have theoretically a better hero to deal with Storm because the stun, if you compare his stun and Alchemy stun, Dragon Knight stun is instant. Much better against the Storm. But this game with the Omni Knight here, I would say the chances of the Storm getting out of control
there's nothing
very high.
There's nothing from Big God that goes through BKB. No stun that goes through BKB. Of course, there's damage like the Death Ward, the December Ward, but
this is I don't know, man. I feel if Big God they make one mistake with their push, they lose.
It's much harder to execute for Big God.
Yeah,
that's for sure. As we're going to be controlling the camera for now. Oh boy, this is a mistake. Can Rave do it?
Okay, I believe in the boys in Rave. But let's see if the casters also believe. They're going to be casting the second game of the third round of the loser bracket finals of the Dota 2 Asian Championship. It's Big God versus Rave. The score is 1-0 Rave, even if it doesn't say that on Dota TV. Guys, it's all yours. Good luck, LD and syndereN.
All right, folks, welcome in to the Dota 2 Asia Championships. It's Big God versus Rave.
Without
Game 2. We're the casters. We're the expert analysts as well. And in stark contrast, we think Big God has a great draft set.
Yeah, I think Big God probably. So a couple of things. First of all, I think their lineup when it peaks, I don't know if Rave are ready. And secondly, Big God played a similar lineup to this really well yesterday against Cloud9. No, that couldn't have been the case. It was against EG in the second game that they won, and then they lost the third. So
they did it with a Razor instead of a Dragon Knight. I think that was the main piece that changed.
And the Luna was also another hero. Yeah, because EG had the Luna that game.
The Luna was the game. Yeah, the EG had the Luna. That's right.
But I definitely want to say easily comfort zone for Big God. So the thing they're aiming to do with this lineup is they want to start taking towers the moment Shadow Shaman is level 6 and the moment Dragon Knight is level 6 and preferably Tide also level 6, which will be the case. Shadow Shaman probably gets it the latest. They'll start sieging towers. Rave might not be that strong in fights yet. Storm Spirit needs farm to really scale. Juggernaut with a level 1 ultimate, really not scary for a Dragon Knight in the front lines. Witch Doctor heal, and the Ravage follow-up after the Omni Slash ends. So I'm not completely sure. I favor Big God this game.
Yeah, the one thing to keep in mind is we haven't seen much Dragon Knight mid, but he's great against gankers, I feel. Regardless of how the lane goes, Storm at some point maybe looks to leave the lane, and the second he leaves the lane to gank, Dragon Knight either tries to TP to help, or more likely is just going to take the tower. RTK, though, top lane will take heavy harassment from Jo and Ninja Boogie. And so you have that, the mid tower probably going down fairly early this game if the game goes even halfway decent for Big God. And the safe lane tower, as soon as Shaman gets 6, is pretty much done for. And the issue for Rave is their D-push is really weak here. So I think the analysts, or the panel rather, are right that it can be very dicey for Big God if they allow the Storm to snowball, if the Omni Knight gets his levels, but we'll have to see if he can find them. As they pointed out, he's not very strong in the laning stage in general, and this game cast will struggle early on to find those levels. So I feel Big God could easily snowball out of control, but it can also go the other way, and we have seen Chrissy's Storm having amazing success, averaging 10.6 kills per game. As a hero when he's with the Omni Knight, 7.6 on average overall. The hero's been very successful this tournament, and he has an easy lane. He's up against the Dragon Knight. He's going to close to free farm, and unless they gank him, he should have no trouble at all.
You know, the funny thing about that stat is Storm averages 10.6 kills together with Omni Knight, So from what I understood, Chrissy has had... Oh, there's your first blood. Very easy first blood as well for the Juggernaut. Chrissy has had 13 kills at the least in all of his Storm games. So he's way above the average on the hero. Very impressive stuff, unless that was incorrect. I was really
impressed by your restraint there. I feel like you had a zinger ready to go because it's RTK dying in the offlane.
I'm not surprised anymore.
You've gone from like the mockery to just, oh, it happened. Now, to be fair, this is not an easy lane.
This is the hardest lane he's had, I think, in a while.
We're just ragging on RTK, but it's going to happen as the offlane Tide against this match.
You can't really blame your Tide for dying to a lane that has so much magical damage as this one does. Juggernaut.
Why don't you crack and chill harder?
Why don't you start with a cloak?
Noob. Please report Tide. Bottom lane, though.
Uh-oh.
There are shackles on Ryo. Early TP coming out too late. Loosen Beam will be used in conjunction with an Ether Shock. Gets the kill. It also forces out that Omni TP, which it just allows them to, if they want to make an aggressive play elsewhere on the map. And if not, we'll just waste a bit of his time. He'll get a little bit of experience off of this, but...
Have we actually introduced the teams yet? The players on each side?
I don't think so.
I think we were so busy poking fun at the panel that we forgot the players.
Let's go through them now. So we've got RTK on the offlane Tidehunter. Gave up the first blood, now looking to bounce back. You've got Xiao8 going mid as the Dragon Knight, one of his old school heroes. Lanham on the Shadow Shaman. He'll be the engine for the push. Ice playing your support Witch Doctor. And that will leave Burning on the safe lane Luna. As for Rave, casts as your offlane Omni Knight. Going mid will be Chrissy, who was sensational in Storm, looking to do it again. Off to a good start here. Ryo stacking in the jungle as the Axe, and over in the safe lane, Ninja Boogie on that Lion support. It leaves Jo as the Juggernaut. Well, he's having a better time than the Drow game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Gets the first blood, gets to hit creeps, gets levels before the 4-minute mark. Life is good for Jo.
He's looking pretty good. It's not the best farm in the world, though. He's 14 CS against the 26 of Burning in the respective safe lanes, so big lead for Burning in that aspect. But then again, Chrissy is owning mid, so all in all, fairly even trade across the map.
Power of Anchor Smash, I guess, just a bit harder to get those CS.
Yeah.
And might have had the CS under tower a few times, as they've been doing quite a bit of pulling.
And also, when you commit for a kill with Juggernaut like that, if your spin hits creeps along the way, you lose the equilibrium, you mess up a couple of last hits because you're busy finding the kill, and all of that can actually snowball into pretty significant loss of farm.
Well, BG aren't even going to wait for the ward synth. They're already pushing. This is going to give the Omni Knight quite a decent amount of experience as he's in Viz, soaking up whatever he can. They've already sent that X off to the woods. We saw him there earlier doing quite a bit of stacking. Tower will end up going down. Cast not even going to try for that deny. It would easily spell his downfall.
They're going to keep going.
Going to claim the last hit. They want to see a TP or some sort of rotation from Rave, and that's just Cast Leechy experience for now.
Storm is not level 6 yet. That's the one hero they need to be careful with. Apart from that, there's no real risk of getting killed right now, I think.
The only way they have to worry about this push is if somehow Axe magically is a blink, but it's 5 minutes, so there's no way he would.
5 minutes and he got owned in lane and he's level 3.
Well, this is the weakness of the Rave draft. They have no D push until they get farm, and BG don't need much to start pushing.
It's actually really scary if they manage to get 2 towers this early on. This is... So, Shannon and I cast a game earlier where... It was Cloud9 who managed to get this bot tier 2 tower at like minute 6:19, and we were talking about how early that was. Well, time for a new, I want to say, tournament record. I cannot remember seeing a tier 2 tower falling this quickly.
It happened.
Oh, he missed the last hit. Very unusual for him.
It happened at one of the Cloud9 games earlier where they took, it was maybe his game 2, where they took the 2 towers very early versus HGT in the safe lane. What happened after that is Eternal Envy never left this area. Now, he was a Juggernaut, a hero that can more easily get out of trouble and find kills, but they just kept on pressuring the lane. Supports were getting extra levels, and anyone who showed up bottom would just die. It's a different draft. I don't know if they'll be getting kills, but you can see Burning just comfortably free farming away. He's not worried about ganks at all. He's got that nice hill ward over near the Rosh pit protecting him quite a bit, and as long as he's able to stay there, they can go for these pulls. The supports... Let's see, how close are we to that Shaman level 6? You mentioned it as a crucial level. Well, he's got a ways to go. He's got to do a bit of catch-up here. It is the downside to going for that early push.
Yeah, it's going to take him a while. They might find a gank, though. That's the possibility they do have. These 2 heroes, Shadow Shaman and Witch Doctor together, not your best ganking duo, but could still be able to at least kill whatever heroes in the bottom lane together with Burning. I think killing the Storm is going to be really difficult unless Dragon Knight has ultimate.
Looks like Burning's going to get spotted out in the river, but it's by an Omni Knight, so there's just nothing here. But I think he did see this Ancient stack now. Well, certainly now. Never mind, they have the Observer Ward, so they know anyway. And
they're just going to the next lane.
Already.
Let's go. Dragon Knight has a Haste Rune and Ultimate in 15 seconds, so why not? What are Rave going to do?
You don't need the wards. You already... I mean, they're nice, but you have Luna Aura. Drums picked up. BG are just going to go kind of LGDN style, just look to win this game ultra quickly. There is a pick off bottom lane for the Storm, killing off that Shaman, but giving up 1 kill to the Storm, if you're taking 3 towers this early, well worth it for BG. And they have Ravage, so they can keep on pushing. Eclipse, not yet up for burning. I don't know if he has a skill point. He might not even be 6, actually. Yeah, he's not 6 yet. But this is now going to be 4 towers, Synd. And what do Rave do? They can go for maybe a little split push, but at most they get that tier 1 top that Juggernaut is working on.
I feel like I've seen this game so many times before, and it always ends the same way.
The team that takes the 4 towers at 8 minutes wins like 9 out of 10.
99 out of 100, yeah, I think is more like it. Or maybe even, I don't even know if I've seen a team take 4 towers this early and then lose.
Now
that was extremely fast.
That was before the rubber band was introduced.
That's true.
So it could be different this time around, but it has all the hallmarks of that Deathball Dota. The much maligned Deathball Dota, but hey, I love seeing it when it's executed well, man.
And it's not, there's quite a few things that got nerfed, right? So the value of the towers themselves, you get less gold for destroying them, and there is the rubber band, but one thing that remains a constant throughout Dota 2 is the importance of map control. And no matter how much you nerf the gold of these towers, people are still going to be taking them. Even if they didn't give gold, you would still go for it, just because of how they are a target point that you can teleport to and give you a sense of safety inside your... on your own half of the map.
So and the vision as well, yeah.
They get 1 tier 1, and they sacrifice 4 towers, and the tower they get is denied. Yeah. This is not looking good
so
for
now
Rave.
BG, they're going to skip a blink on RTK. They don't need to get a jump on Rave. They just need to walk at buildings. He's going straight mech, burning after the drums, goes back for Gloves of Haste to complete his treads. Nothing big, nothing greedy for BG, just cheap, cost-effective items that let you continue fighting until the hopeful GG. Still needing that Shadow Shaman level 6. I think that's the biggest thing they're lacking right now. He's got to be closing in on it. Probably 4.5 or 5.
He's going to break his smoke now. He's going to find Dragon Knight. They see him too. Spamming it out.
He'll zip out. Land him. Oh, might almost caught him.
All right, that's how you use your mana pool in Storm. He had to do that though.
He's got to be careful. He's actually.
All right, that is how you use your mana pool.
Got him. Well, Soul Rain secured. Easy.
And that's a pretty big deal for Rave.
They're just going to rush.
They used to smoke. They used a lot of time.
They know the Storm is no mana. Yeah. Now it's an easy rush.
Well, this is actually, I think this is pretty risky. Sure, you've got Burning with Eclipse at this point, but this will take a long time because they don't have Mass Serpent wards. I think Rave are aware it's happening, and absolute worst case for Rave, they could probably trade for something like the mid-tier 1 or maybe significant damage on mid-tier 1 and tier 1 bottom, and it looks like that is their plan here as Jo continuing in the mid lane. Well, they will let them have it. And I think if you're Big God, you actually... I think you like this trade because this goes hand in hand with the game plan, which is to maybe even siege the base before minute 15. They will get the mech soon now.
I mean, the question is, what else do they need? The Shaman wards are up now. That's a big thing for them.
They're pretty much set, actually.
I don't think there's one item that I'm like, they need that. You know, the mech, but RTK should have it momentarily. It looks like he's very close.
And it's huge to have this Aegis on Burning, because they will need someone to stand together with the creep wave while the Serpent wards are hitting. And Burning can actually tank a fair amount if they engage on him. See, this is the problem with Rave's lineup. To get these kills this early on in the game, they need to commit crucial cooldowns, because the heroes themselves are not strong enough yet.
Looking for a backstab. Jo might be able to pick someone off. There's a tower deny mid, but everybody's sticking close together. Courier coming in. Oh, that's a big courier. If they can snipe it, that's the mech. This could give them 3 minutes. It's too late now, though. It's been delivered.
Oh, that could have been a really huge play. If you can Omnislash the courier, right?
I believe so, yeah. I'm not actually sure about
I mean, that's one of those plays you just never make, but that would have actually been a huge play right there.
I think BG might say, great, well, now you're Omnislash down and go for it anyway. But here comes the siege, and Rave, the power of the Omni Knight Storm, will it even have a chance to unveil itself? Jo working his way through the wards. Look how quickly they bring him down.
Oh, he got one.
Almost good enough. Not quite, though. BG, Deathball Dota, it's back, they say, and I don't even think there's a Blink or Ryo on your axe. Now they're going to Omni Knight ult just to try and keep Jo alive a bit longer. The Eclipse coming out. Enough to bring him down as that Omni/ends. Now Chrissy trapped, dealt with. BG just running over Rave. This is brutal. Already forced to bite back on the Storm. But what do you really go on here? Burning's got Aegis. Wards are still up. Ravage still online. They got nothing on this. One lane of Rex down, and if you're BG, you go back heal, and I mean, if you even need to go back, and then you reset and you go for Rex number 2.
That's the best call, I think. Reset, go bottom. They still have 3 minutes on the Aegis. It's enough to buy up an item, or top lane even if they want. It's enough to buy up an item, push out the lane, go for the tower. They will have Dragon Form again. They will have Death Ward again. They will have Eclipse again with the right timing, and the Mass Serpent Wards. I have no idea what Rave can do.
And they didn't use Ravage, so Ravage will be online as well.
I have absolutely no idea what Rave can do this game. They absolutely had to hold these towers early on, but I don't know if their lineup could even have done it, even if they tried.
I don't think they could have, because Axe didn't have a blink. Storm would have been jumping into 3 heroes, including an instant disable on the Hex and the Dragon Tail.
Yeah.
And they have no one to like safely draw the creep aggro back. I actually don't think they could have done anything differently. Maybe Axe doesn't die bottom, but I mean, that's asking a lot against that tri-lane.
Yeah.
And I don't think that kill would have mattered.
No, exactly. That didn't really make that much of a difference.
This feels like a total checkmate just from how well BG are executing the draft.
And it's funny because we talked about, I think it was yesterday as well, going into the match against EG, that BG always play the same style. They play the super late game, burning on Medusa, ultra hard carry, and they just delay the game, and they play very well on their high ground. We haven't really seen any other style. Then they lose to EG. And then they're like, okay, we have another strat we haven't really shown you guys yet. We can actually still play like TI3, TI4, push strategies, and well, Rave, you can't say they should have been caught by surprise by this, because they've seen it before.
And they saw it coming in the draft too,
yes.
Even before they went for the Omni Knight last pick. They could have picked a support. The D push is a bit better, something that can slow the game down, or maybe apply pressure earlier before BG come online, but they went for the Storm Omni, they went for the Super Storm Spirit later on. They knew what was coming, and they felt they could hold it and then turn it with Chrissy, but well, this is going to be the toughest defense of their lives. Already the ward's down. The siege begins, and it's a quick one. Chrissy working from the sidelines. They're going to go in with a JO Blade Fury. He's going to try to work on some wards here, but won't get much done. Death Ward's only Ryo back. That was underwhelming. I just don't know what they do.
You know what's
their
actually
great gambit, dude.
You know what's actually pretty funny about this? We've been giving ROTK a lot of flack for whiffed Ravages. Okay,
I guess we have to wait with that. Whiff one yet.
Guess we have to wait on that burning. He's being focused, but he has Aegis. They're not getting anything out of this.
Well, GA coming out now. Rave just sitting back and watching their base burn. They're not split pushing. They have the Storm behind BG. They get off the blink call, but nobody even takes damage from this. Now the Ravage, that's on 3. Eclipse to follow it up, also on 3. Easy double kill for Burning. Storm trying to make his move on the backlines, but he ended up getting killed off by the Shadow Shaman, and well, that's all she wrote, Sind. A 15-minute GG. TI4 finals all over again. Lumi has been talking about TI3 finals. Today, we're talking about TI4, baby.
So what I was going to say, okay, so he gets a Ravage in the end, but I was about to say, you know what? If you have a Tide who has a history of missing Ravages, just build a lineup where he doesn't even need to cast it. Where just the threat of them, he doesn't need to make an amazing Ravage. Like, this last one wasn't even necessary. This was literally a game they could have won without casting Tide Ultimate, which would be a first for me. I don't think I've seen that before. But, I mean, what are they going to do? He should just... ROTK played it perfectly by not trying the Ravage. He needs to just wait, let the fight develop. Oh, you guys want to go in? They can't go in. Ravage is there's a threat. There's a Mass Serpent wards. In the fights Rave got, I don't even think they played poorly. That was just completely impossible to deal with.
Well, on that somber note for Rave, it ties it up at 1-1, folks, but we have a deciding Game 3 coming up, and before we get to it, we're going to hear what our expert analysts on the panel have to say
about Rave's great draft.
Well, that was fast.
Billy had time to
swallow
leave the
your
room. My Starbucks. Let's finish the sentence.
Okay.
No,
I wanted to leave it to your imagination. But some people were saying, or were calling the Dota Asian Championship TI 4.5.
Yeah.
Well, I guess where the TI 4 part came from, because we just saw something that was entirely out of that metagame. the super fast 15-minute push, which Shannon hates and Winter likes.
Do you?
What
You didn't
would
say
you
he
say?
liked it,
I
per
just
se.
I was just saying it was very technical, like the way they executed it. It doesn't mean that I like the game played like this.
He can appreciate the level of complexity that it takes to pull off a push like
but
that.
it doesn't
While
mean
me,
I
the
like
dumb
it.
guy, is like, that was a 15-minute Dota game. I want to see more Dota. I don't know about you guys.
The replay lasted about 30 seconds.
The replay, oh yeah, the highlights of the Chinese stream lasted about 30 seconds. And that is it. But I want to ask.
We're 20 minutes. We're 2 minutes behind an hour.
Thank you. No, what I wanted to say is you're talking about the complexity of running this kind of lineup, Winter. What do you think is what do you need to make right? What is the most important thing to take into account
Timing.
when you're trying to?
Timing.
Yes, timing. You have
timing
15 minutes to win. But, I mean,
Not
be a
necessarily.
little bit more, be a little bit deeper.
You could put it that way, but for me, what was the most fascinating point of this game? 11 minutes when they went to high ground, the Axe, if he had a blink at that point, they could have hold off a defense with a blink call, purification on the Axe with the GA. They would have been able to win a fight. But I was telling Shannon that guy had 1.6k goal, 1.7k goal. He had a death on the lane, and they didn't really prioritize it. Like some teams, they have a support at bottom lane, so it becomes sort of a dual lane with the Axe, which is very helpful, so he can actually get some farm in the lane. But this game, he didn't get farm. He had 0 last hit until like 4 or 5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I was watching the CS score, and that was one of the moments where when you look at back 11 minutes into the game, the high ground push came. He was 1.7k goal, and you're like, Shannon was like, do we even want to sell his boots right now to get that blink?
If he sells his Tranquils and his Stout Shield, we assume he could have bought the Blink Dagger. Do you think that, from your perspective, would that have been worth it?
Yeah, if they pull off a successful base defense from that, because Big God didn't expect the blink, and he maybe gets a call because ROTK was playing so aggressive. He was standing up beside they didn't have Aegis on the Luna at that point. He was standing next to the Luna and the Dragon Knight. So if he were to get a call on those 3 heroes, the purification comes in from the Omni Knight, you instantly kill one guy after that. I think there was a very good chance they get a base hold, and Storm could have just zip past everyone, get the Witch Doctor. It would set up in a way that Rave could have potentially hold a base defense, and one base defense like this, against that lineup, I think you win the game.
Yeah.
You win the game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen people trying and failing at this strategy. If you don't get it right the first time,
It's
you're kind
very
of bumping
complex,
into
you
a
know.
wall.
Like I would say the 11-minute push, any other team maybe less experienced would have went for the top tier 1,
Yeah.
or went for the Roche. I don't know why they would have that feeling that, oh, we have to do it. Maybe they were like, we have to do this before the X have blink, otherwise they would be able to defend. The player, like maybe the captain was like thinking in the perspective of, if I'm Rave, how am I going to stop the push? Number 1, the blink from X. They click on the X doesn't have blink now. Guys, we have to go right now. Even we don't have the Aegis. And that was the call that won them the game. No matter who did it, that was the thing, for me, that was the most crucial part of the game for Xiao8's team.
Well, we talked about how Big God are old guys. They're very experienced about Dota. We're old guys as well. We have to take a small break
Bathroom
to
break
compose
time.
ourselves. When we come back, we'll come back with Game 3 of Rave versus Big God. See you guys in a bit.